Okay, hello, my fellow book nerds. How is everyone doing today? I hope you're well. Today is Tuesday, so yeah, and we are finally getting some lovely weather. We're supposed to have a week of very nice weather here in the UK, or at least here in Manchester, anyway, where I live. So hopefully we should have some sunny weather. That would be very nice. So today, well, if you've seen my previous video, my April TBR, naturally you would assume that I'm going to do my wrap up for March. And you'd be correct. That is what I'm doing here today. So settle down. Hopefully I won't be too long, but we shall see, because I am a textbook rambler. I talk and I talk and I talk. So I apologise in advance. So I'm going to start with the books that I didn't get to, because I did not do very well, in my opinion, for what I read this month. Now, in total I had 6 books that I needed to get to, and I read 4, which, saying that, isn't too bad. Like, only 2 that I didn't get to is really good. So that's a relief. Also, I was able to wrangle things around where I could still complete all of the yearly challenges for March with the 4 books that I did read. So that's really good. I made sure to kind of prioritise the ones that I knew I had to do to complete those prompts, and then just go from there, basically. So I'm going to start with the books I didn't get to, and then we will talk about what I have read. The first book that I did not get to is The Ministry of Time by Kayleen Bradley. I don't know her name, sorry. Did not get to this, so I haven't carried this through to April, but I do hope to get to it at some point. Maybe it'll be on another TBR, who knows. Or maybe I will surprise myself and you all and say, hey, I read this month too. You never know. We will have to see. But yeah, the next book that I didn't get to is A Match in the Making by Jen Turano. This is book 1 in the Matchmakers series, and this is Christian fiction. And I was hoping to get to this in March, but I didn't. So I have decided to carry this through to April. However, if you've seen my April TBR, this isn't a guarantee either. So again, we'll have to see. But I would like to get to this during the spring months, because this is so spring looking. I mean, look at that. The colours, the shades, the flowers in the background. Not that you can really see them if you're not looking closely, but you know, it just screams spring to me in the cover. So I would like to get to it, you know, this time of the year. But otherwise, I will survive. Right, so these next books are the ones that I have read and completed. And I'm just going to go in order of how they are in my pile. Coincidentally, the first book I'm reading is the first book that I read and finished, but the rest aren't in that order. They're actually order from most recently read to oldest. Yeah. But first, I'm going to have a drink of my lovely warm coffee. It is cold. Then again, in England, we're not known for our very hot temperatures normally. We normally have our heat waves, and then... No, I'm going to talk about the ebook that I read. And that is Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. And I used this to fulfill the decades prompt for March, which was the 1930s, for Alma's Journey Through Time yearly challenge. So I read and completed this. And what I have realised is I should have brought my reading stuff so I know what I gave it. Well, I already know what I gave it. But I gave this 4 stars. This is a thriller. It's also a classic. So yes, to be honest, I did enjoy it, but it's very descriptive and it's very slow. And if you don't know, this book is massive. On my Kindle, it's 480 pages. 80. 80. It's nearly 500 pages. I could have used this for this month. For Katie's spring readathon, but no, I read it last month. But yeah. It was so, I found it was slow for the first half of it, like around 50%. And then it started to get more interesting as more things did actually start to happen. So I would be aware of it. I would honestly prefer it if it was shorter. However, it does kind of suit the style that Daphne du Maurier wrote in, because it's a slow paced. So it's very descriptive of like daily life and all of that stuff, and up to the lead up to all of the more thrilling and creepy bits. Because of that, it's obviously it's not graphic, it's not violent, there's not loads of swearing. That, if I remember rightly, there are uses of using the Lord's name in vain. So just be aware of that if you're not comfortable with reading any of that at all. I don't remember there being a massive amount, but to be fair, this is a big book. So for the size of it, it could be a smallish amount, but if it was a shorter book, it would be a lot. So I don't really know. But yeah, just be aware of that. There is also a scene where a character is trying to convince another character to jump out of a window as like a suicide type thing. So just be aware of that. As a possible trigger for you, if you're not comfortable with that. It doesn't happen, if that helps, but yeah, just be aware of that. But otherwise, it's quite mild, it's not sexually explicit or anything. Again, obviously no swearing, like I said. So yeah, and I did enjoy it. I did like that it was descriptive. I just found that because it was nearly 500 pages, I did think it was a bit slow. So yeah, I gave it four. Oh, did I give 4.5 stars? No, that was a different book. No, yeah, this is 4 stars. And so yes, yeah, I guess if you like your slow-paced thrillers, and when I say slow-paced, I mean slow-paced, and you don't mind reading a thick book, either physically or an ebook or audio or whatever, then go for it. But otherwise, if you struggle with slow-paced thrillers in particular, I probably wouldn't recommend it, especially because it's so big of a book. But yeah, otherwise, I recommend it. It's just, it might not be for everyone. It does make me a bit apprehensive about trying any more of her books, because I'm worried that she'll stick to this type of slow pace, which is fine, but it's more, I'm concerned about how big the other books will be in page count. So I'm a bit nervous about trying any of her other books, but if I see any of hers somewhere and they sound interesting, then, I'll still give them a read. I won't, cut her off entirely or anything. But yes, that is a book I completed. My first book, in fact. I did actually technically start this in February, because I knew it was a big book, and I'm really glad I did, because I think this is partly what made me not read all of my books, because it was so big. And I'm scared now, because I feel like it may have made me a little bit slumpy. I'm not sure. I don't want to actually say it, although I just said it, because I'm scared I'm going to make it true that I really am in a slump. So I'm hoping I'm not. We'll see how this month goes. But yes, that is the first book of March. I'm getting the months wrong already. Okay, the most recent book that, you know what, maybe I should go in order. And you know what, I am going to go get my bullet journal, because honestly, it might help me just a little bit, just a little bit. I didn't used to be a coffee drinker. I was always water or tea, you know, including herbal teas. And I still love herbal teas and stuff. But in recent years, I don't know how many years, 5 years, 6 years, 5 or 6 years, something like that, I've been getting into coffee. Oh, I love it now. To be fair, I do have coffee syrups, which helps. I used to have sugary ones, and then I was like, maybe I should have the sugar-free ones if I'm having them a lot, because I also have syrups at home. So yeah, I have sugar-free syrups these days. So yeah, that is what helps the taste, let me tell you. Oh yeah, game changer. Right, let me go get my journal. Okay, right, I'm back now. Right, let's just see what I've done so far. Oh yeah, right. So yeah, I'm just looking at my reading journal. I was going to use my bullet, but this has my reviews in it, so I'm like, I'll look at this one. And my review for Rebecca, so this one, I did say that it is 4 stars. I didn't expect the ending, because there is kind of a twist. I didn't really know what to expect, if I'm honest with Rebecca. So yeah, I didn't expect the ending. I thought the ending was pretty good. It was very like shocking in a slow-paced way. Like, not like, if any of you have read The Murder of Roger Ackroyd by Agatha Christie, if you've read that, you know the twist. And that twist was shocking. I was like screaming on the inside. With the twist in Rebecca at the end was not quite as shocking as that. It was like more slow-paced shocking. It was more like, I didn't expect that. So yeah, there was a twist, and that was really good, and I really liked that. So yeah, so that's good. But yeah, that's why I gave it 4 stars, because I thought for the size of the book, it was a bit slow for me personally. But there we go. What can you do? Nothing, that's what. So I have since decided that instead of going in order of my pile, I'm going to go in order of when I read them. So obviously the first book I read, as I said, was Rebecca. And then the next book that I read and finished was When the Day Comes by Gabrielle Meyer. So if you're not aware, I did do a whole reading vlog on this book, where I tried not to give spoilers, but just be aware I may have done, because I did get annoyed at times. One time in particular, but I did. But I did give this 4.5 stars, and the half star is because I got annoyed. Because otherwise, I did really enjoy this book. It was interesting. I loved the 2 different timelines. I loved the characters. I loved learning about the whole Williamsburg and independence of America stuff from the 1700s. Because I'm British, we probably did learn a little bit, because we are usually told a few different things from different countries. But obviously we don't know everything, and even if we did, doesn't mean we would remember it, 15 years later after you've left high school. Although it's not been 15 years since I left high school, but 15 years since I started. Ish. It might be a bit longer, but not much. Anyway, doesn't matter. So yeah, it was interesting to hear a little bit about the whole Williamsburg stuff. So yeah, and I love the time. I just love historical timelines. I have always thought that I just wasn't born in the right decades. I mean, I was. We're all born for the time we're born in, God chooses when we are supposed to be born, okay? But sometimes I feel like I could have done with being a bit earlier in time, but there we go. It doesn't matter. So yeah, I did really enjoy it. I did find that Libby, who is the main character, I did find her a bit annoying, and I don't know whether it's just me. I think it is, because I don't know. I just found she was annoying a little bit at times. I just found that she was always really complaining a lot. And whilst I get that it's not nice being in the timelines that she's in, certainly in the 1900s, in this one especially, but at the same time I was just kind of annoyed by it because she wasn't really doing anything about it, or at least not that was described in the book. And I just found it was annoying. And and even though she is a mature character, I mean, for how young she is mature. She has a lot of maturity. But sometimes it just felt like she wasn't, and I think it's because of the complaining. I don't think she isn't immature at all. She is, But yeah, I just got a bit annoyed with her, and I don't know whether part of it is because of how much older I am, or whether I was just in an annoyed mood when I read those particular bits, or more inclined to it. I have no idea, but I was. So there we go. I did find I didn't agree with one of the bits of what she did, and if you see my vlog, you'll know what I'm talking about. I did try and keep it spoiler free, but it's quite hard to do so. So I apologize. I apologize for that. But yeah, I just found that I just didn't like what she did. I thought it was a bit out of character in a way. Whilst I understood her reasonings for it, I completely understood. And I can't say I wouldn't necessarily have done the same thing. I don't know. But I just found it was a bit out of character for her, and the fact that the other characters that she was talking to about this thing, I just found that it was a bit out of character for him as well. I mean, in the end, it actually worked out to how I thought it should have done, and actually worked out even better afterwards, which is very good, of course. But they found it a bit out of character and a bit annoying with that particular bit in specifically. If you see my vlog and or read When the Day Comes, you'll probably know what I'm talking about, even if you don't agree with how I feel, which is fine. So yeah, I do kind of feel now it's been a while, I do feel like I was a little bit harsh, but I wasn't harsh with my stars because I did really enjoy it. The twist at the end, it was so good. I was not expecting that. Did not expect it, and it does explain why I saw a spoiler at the time. I accidentally did that thing where, we're like, oh, how many chapters have we got? And, so I was doing all of this, trying to have a look, and accidentally saw the name of one of the male main characters who were the love interest slash kind of love interested, but not really, because it was a marriage of, well, it was kind of like a marriage of convenience, but like not really, more like an arranged marriage sort of thing. So not really love interest, but certainly romantic. Well, no, that's the same thing. I don't know. Anyway, relationship interest. So yeah, what was I going to say? Yeah, so yeah, that the twist actually explains the spoiler, because then something happened that made her go into the timeline that I suspected that she would go into. But the twist, I was crying. If you saw my vlog, I was crying for the whole last 2 chapters, or 1.5 or something. Oh, it was really good. I really enjoyed it. So despite the few little bits where I was a bit annoyed or didn't like what the character did, I did really enjoy it. I gave it 4.5 stars, and I will continue with the series. So yeah, Gabrielle Meyer, new author. I mean, I seem to mostly have new authors because I don't often stick to the same authors, or I do and then have loads of other ones. Oh yeah, and also I wanted to say that I loved Libby's relationship with her mum in the 1700s. And I also loved her relationship with her dad in the 1900s. I did really enjoy seeing those, especially the one with her dad. Hey guys, sorry about that. My phone's been weird. So So yeah, I really enjoyed seeing her relationship with her mum in the 1700s and her dad in the 1900s, especially the dad. But that is mainly because my dad passed away in July, so obviously stuff like a good relationship with your dad is going to be something that I'm going to really enjoy because I had a really good relationship with mine. So yeah, thankfully it didn't make me cry, so that's good. No, not really. It just made me have like nice feelings and think about my dad, like, oh, yeah. So yeah, so that was nice. Yeah, other than that, I've got nothing else to say for when the day comes. I love a good coffee, right? So let's go to the next book that I read. And that, wait, no. I also need to tell you what challenges I used when the day comes. You would think after all these months I would remember how to do these things, but apparently I don't, so yeah. So for When the Day Comes by Gabrielle Meyer, I, in the end, will have used this for, what did I use this for? Oh, well, yeah, I used it for Santel's Read Your Book Self Challenge. So I used this for the March prompt, which is time, because this is called the Timeless series. So obviously I had to use it for that. And also it has like, not really time travel, but short time travel, because it has 2 different timelines. So it has a lot of, time. I also used this for, so I used this for a new series in Oceana's Read Christian Romance Yearly Challenge. I used it for a new series, I think. Yes, I did. Because I have a lot of Christian romance slash fiction. So, and a lot of them, because I'm new to it, I have a lot of new authors. And that's one of the prompts. But I have a few books that are just like standalones. They're not actually part of a series. So I'm going to use one of those for a new to me author. So anyway, now that I've explained that one, I don't think I used it for Princess Bride-athon, but I did use Rebecca for the Princess Bride-athon readathon, yearly challenge by Katie from Paperbacks and Ponytails, and I did use this for iocane powder, which is reading an ebook or audiobook. So I did that. I don't think I did any other prompts for that month, for March, for her yearly challenges. Not that I couldn't have done, I could. But yeah, there was one I was thinking of using it for, but because I didn't give it 5 stars, because, that gives you a clue. I was thinking of using, completing the prompt, this one left them all behind, 5-star prediction. And to be fair, it's prediction, so it doesn't have to have been 5 stars, because I was thinking of also using When the Day Comes for that, because I was thinking that at the time. So, or possibly, as one of the options anyway. So I haven't actually updated my Instagram yet with my bingo boards type of thing, so I could still add to that. So if you're interested, check my Instagram out. I'm not very good at regularly posting though, so just be aware of that. But yes, I think that's it for now with those 2 books and my challenges that I'm reading for. Right, okay, cool. Okay, right, yeah, that's great. So, the next book that I read was Anne of the Island by Ellen Montgomery. This is book 3 in the Anne of Green Gables series. Now, if you don't know, Chantal from Chantal Reads All Day is doing a year of Maud. So we're going through some if not all of the Anne of Green Gables books, as well as other books that Ellen Montgomery wrote as well, in between. But so far, I think we're going through the first 4 or maybe the first 5 books of Anne of Green Gables, I think, in a row. I could be wrong about that though, but certainly the first 4, because if you've seen my TBR, we are still on the Anne of Green Gables series. So, I read this again. This is a reread. This is my last reread of the series, because I read up to book 3 last year and the year before, But then, because Chantel's doing the Year of Maud, I thought that was a great idea, because I have been absolutely loving the Anne of Green Gables series. So I thought, why not? I've only read the first 3 books, so I don't mind rereading those 3, because it's only 3. So yeah, I decided to take part. So for the first 3 months, I have been rereading the first 3 books in the Anne of Green Gables series. And again, still a 5-star read, which is fantastic. Again, all the usual stuff with Ellen Montgomery's writing, lots of lovely descriptions. Again, it's not very exciting in terms of plot, because it is that sort of book where it's more going through your everyday life sort of thing, although it's not as in-depth necessarily. But yeah, this takes place when Anne leaves for university, and it takes place over a few years, maybe like 3 or 4 years-ish, and it basically goes through her life at university, as well as bits when she goes back home. And also in between, where she's on like her summer holidays type things, because sometimes she would also go like visiting her friends, or she would go and work for a few weeks or however long somewhere else, which is what she did. She goes to work in a school somewhere, and I can't remember where, but a school. So yeah, and it basically goes through her love life, her friends' love lives, and the love lives of other people that she is around, that she either helps or is just there when it sort of happens. So it has been funny, it's been emotional, you know, like Celestia with her little meme clips. I had all the feelings, Bob. Or something like that. I can't remember the actual quote. I don't really know the quote very well. But yeah. Well, not roller coaster, but you know, I had all the emotions. And yeah, you're basically seeing Anne finally getting to Gilbert. Sorry for the spoiler. But to be fair, at this point, for classic, if you don't know, you kind of suspect it from like book 2, or even book 1 if you're that noticeable or something. You know, you see something happen in book 1 and you're like, it's definitely going to be a love interest, you know, like, unless you don't necessarily see that, it's kind of obvious. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. You get to see a bit of Davy and Dora again. Davy is still causing havoc, of course, and getting into trouble, and, you know, being remorseful about it and repenting, or at least he seems to be repenting. So yeah, it's lovely seeing them two grow up, the 2 of them. And there are bits of, what's his name? The little boy, Paul Irving. You see him growing up as well. He was in the 2nd book. He is a kid who is very like Anne in terms of the imagination stuff. So it's lovely seeing them grow up. It's definitely really good. I mean, the whole series so far is really good for young kids. Well, youngish. I don't know how young you would have to be, but yeah. But yeah, absolutely lovely book. I've been really enjoying this series. I can't say enough about it, really. Let's see what I wrote in my reading journal. Yeah, just what I've already said. A very short review, but there's not really much else to say. But I gave it 5 stars, so there we go. Yeah, I can't wait to continue reading the series, because I'm now reading it with fresh eyes, because I've not read further than Anne of the Island, so I'm really excited to not have to reread something. Not that that's a bad thing. But I did also use this for other challenges as well as the Year of Maud, because I didn't have as many books read as I wanted to. So I did use this for Teresa from Creatively Faithful's Cozy Reading Challenge, for TBR book stack. So I did use this for that. I think that was all I've used it for. Yeah, because those different. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So I only used this, other than a year of Maud, I used it for Teresa's Cozy Reading Challenge. So, yeah. So that's good. Let's have another coffee break. Who doesn't love a coffee break? No one. I'm going to say coffee break. I don't necessarily mean it has to be coffee, though. So if you don't like coffee, whatever your favourite beverage is, that break. Beverage break. Actually, that goes well with alliteration. Beverage break. There we go. Yeah. There you go. I'll copyright it. So this last book, I've not actually written into my reading journal yet because it was the last book that I have read in March. And I've only just finished it. I finished it on the last day of March, March 31st. So, the last book I read was The Grand Sophie by Georgette Heyer. Or Heyer. No, that sounds the same. Anyway, this. So, I have recently read this. This is a Regency romance, basically. And this is about a young woman called Sophie. Or I don't know what her full name is. Is it Sophia? I don't know. But yeah, I don't know where this comes in the amount in Georgette's releasing, publishing of books. And it's quite far down, but yeah. But I used this for a few prompts. Oh yeah. Okay. So this was originally printed in 1950. So I used this. Actually, I'll talk about those after. So, yeah, this is a good book. It was funny. I liked the characters. I did find the main character, Sophie, a bit. I liked her. I did like her. I do like her. But I did think she was... Well, no, I don't know. I can't quite... You know what? It's quite a big book. And saying that, it's not the biggest book in the world. Like... It's literally only 328 pages, okay? It's not a big book, really. But to me, it seems really big because also the writing's quite small. It's quite compact. And also the chapters are so long. So long. They're like Francine Rivers long. They're like 20 pages-ish for each chapter. So it says it's only 328 pages. Yeah, literally. So... the last chapter, which might be slightly different from the others, but basically, the last chapter is 21 pages. And that is basically about the same for each chapter. They're all about 20-ish pages. So, for chapters, it's very short. It's only 18 chapters, but the chapters are very long. So I would be aware of that, because I did find that made it feel like it dragged, even though the story didn't drag particularly. Even though it is Regency romance, so it's not like you're reading a thriller or a fantasy where there's a lot going on, unless it's cozy fantasy, but I'm not talking about those. Like it's not exciting in that sort of way. So the fact that it's long chapters made it feel like it went slowly, because I felt like I was just grudging slowly getting through each chapter. So if the chapters weren't so long, I probably would have gotten through it a bit quicker, and I might not have felt it be as slow, because it could have still been like 328 pages. It didn't have to be a longer book. It just, the chapters could have been shorter. You could have halved them, or not even halved all of them. Like some of them could be 20 pages, that's fine. It's when all of them are 20 pages. Like, it has to be a really good book, something really exciting to me or interesting for me to not feel like a long chapter is dragging. So we'll have to see about my next Francine Rivers book I'm going to read, apparently, because she does write long chapters, certainly for the main chapters anyway. But yeah, I did enjoy it. It was funny. There were characters I didn't like. You're not really meant to like them. Although I did sympathise with those characters because I understood why they were like that. So the characters that I'm thinking of called Miss Raxton. And because of my list, I'm going to spell her last name out for you. It's W-R... Where are we? Oh, here we go. W-R-A-H, like X-ray. Miss Ratston. Her first name's Eugenia, or Eugenia, however you want to pronounce her name. Yeah, she is meant to not be a nice character. You're not meant to like her, and I don't like her. It worked, but I understood where she was coming from, especially for the times as well. And to be fair, I think I do agree with her on some things, but not with everything. So the main character, Sophie, I do think she was, as a whole, in the right. But she's very different from London society in these times, certainly in this book anyway. Whereas these days she might still be eccentric if she's got, because she brings with her a monkey, as a pet and stuff like that. So she will probably still be considered a bit weird these days for things like that, because we don't really do that these days. Certainly not in England, that I'm aware of. As pets, I mean. And, but yes, I enjoyed it. Yeah, there's nothing much to say. It's like it's like all of the other types of Regency romances, especially by Georgette Heyer. It's pretty standard. You pretty much know who she's going to end up with from the start, or at least you suspect. It was good. I enjoyed it, for what it is. But yeah, I will continue her books. It's not put me off. I haven't actually decided on the rating yet, and I'm not quite sure. Because I did enjoy it, but the chapters were really long. So I'm thinking maybe 4.5 stars or 4 stars. I'm thinking it might be more 4 stars. Yeah, because it wasn't bad, and I enjoyed it. So yeah, I'm going to put this as 4 stars. Although, let's hope I don't change my mind. I don't think I will. But yeah, 4 stars. So for this one, I used for... What have I used you for? So I've used you for Alma's readathon. Yearly challenge. So I used this for the centuries prompt, which for March is the 19th century. And if you're like me and you get confused or forget, or you just don't know which hundreds it is, like 1800s, 1900s, all of that. This, the 19th century is for the 1800s, and this is set, even though it was written in the 1900s, this is set in the 1800s, because that's when the Regency era was. So yeah, I used this for that one. And I don't think I used it for anything else. No, didn't use it for anything else. So yeah, that is the last book I read in March. So yeah, there we go. I did pretty well considering, really, when you think about the fact that I read a massively long book and may have put myself in a bit of a slump because of it. I think I did quite well. 4 books, I mean, that is basically 1 a week, essentially. So, that is my average, really. On average, 1 a week is about what I can do. Sometimes it's more than that, sometimes it's less. It just depends on how busy I am, on the book, all sorts of different reasons. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed. I don't think I've got anything else to tell you for my wrap-up. Hey, guys. So, ignore my face. I have realised I'm editing my wrap-up for March, and I have realised that there's a couple of books and a readathon that I forgot to mention. So there is a book that I didn't get to in March. I could get it physically, but I don't want to get up, so I'll just do a picture somewhere. Hopefully I'll find a space for it, because I always forget which way around I do it. But one of the other books that I didn't get to in March was Jo's Boys by Louisa May Alcott, which is the final book in a Little Women series, and I'll put a picture up somewhere. I didn't get to that in the end. I wanted to for middle grade March specifically, but I didn't get there in time. So I have decided to move it and continue hoping to read it for April. I'm going to try and do it. If you've seen my TBR, you'll know what I'm trying to use it for, but I'm trying to use it for Katie's Spring Into the Movies readathon that I'm going to take part in. I'm going to try and use it for that. So yeah, I've basically carried that on into April. And I also forgot to mention that I was going to use Joe's Boys in a Slate as well as Anne of the Island for middle grade March. Now obviously I didn't get to use Joe's Boys. However, I did obviously, as you know, read and finish Anne of the Island, and that does count as a middle grade. And I double checked the prompts, and it actually fulfills every single one of them. And I'm going to try and remember them. One of them was written in the 1900s. It was written in that era. Involving travel. It involved travel. Flowers on the cover. On my version, there's flowers on the cover. Part of a series. It obviously is part of the Anne of Green Gables series. Is there another prompt? You guys will know if there's another prompt. If there is, I know it fulfills that one, because when I had a look at the prompts, I realised that Anne of the Island fulfilled every single one. So that was great. So I did actually successfully complete the middle grade March readathon as well. So that's cool. I think that was all I needed to add on. I'll probably put this near the end. I did think about splitting the video up and doing the Joe's Boys and then Anne of the Island in their respective categories of when I did them in the video. But that takes effort and I don't want to. So you're welcome. So yeah, I will let you get back to past me as I'm filming this. Yeah, I apologise if it's a long one. It probably is. I hope you had something to drink, maybe a snack as well whilst you're watching it. I don't know, whatever you prefer. But yeah, thank you for watching. I will link my reading vlog for when the day comes down below. That is the only one I've talked about that I've done a specific video for. And yes, I hope you have a blessed week. Hopefully I'll upload this on time. I apologise for my last video. I was going to try and upload you for my normal Saturday morning, which is when I usually try and do it. But my mum has Muslim friends who came over on Friday to break one of their last iftar meals, which is during Ramadan. They break their fast when the sun has set or is setting. I can't remember which one. But basically, they came over to do that on Friday, which is when I normally try and edit. But obviously, because it's to do with the sunset and stuff like that, it started reasonably, not late, but it was like after, I think it was like 6:30 when they got here, and then they didn't go home until about 8:30, 9 o'clock. And I was knackered, and I was in a lot of pain because I was sat down on a chair for about 3 or 4 hours, / I was helping set up before we started and stuff. So I was not up to doing any editing. I was knackered. I actually went to bed quite early for me. So yeah, I think I did. I can't remember. Either way, I was knackered and in a lot of pain. And then Saturday is a busy day, I'm out, and then obviously Sunday, it's Sunday. But I did edit on Sunday, so on Monday. Did I edit yesterday? Yeah, I edited yesterday. I basically was unable, that was it, yeah. I couldn't do it on Sunday because Sunday was Mother's Day for us in the UK. So after church with my grandma, I then went back to grandma's and gave her the rest of her Mother's Day stuff, because I bought flowers, but I did those a day early because, you know, flowers, you don't really want to wait too long, and I already bought them the day before on Friday, so I just, yeah. And I did the same for my mum as well, with the flowers. So I spent some of the afternoon on Sunday with my grandma, you know, doing the presents and just spending time with her. And then we did stuff on with Mum. So yeah, I just didn't have time. So there we go. So yeah, I apologise for that. It might mean that I have to start editing on a different day. So we'll have to see. Yeah. But yeah. Sorry for the explanation, because you don't really need to know any of that, but I just thought I'd let you know if you're interested. So yes, thank you for watching. I will let you go, because you know we all have our lives to live, and this is already a long video. So I hope you all have a blessed day and week, or rest of your day, depending on what time you watch this. And yes, I will see you in my next video. Bye.